And then if you disagree with this, they say you are anti-science, which of course I am. I hate science. Science is a religion from Satan. I hate science. A religion that says that the world has no creator. Damn them. And science should not be taught to children. Because that's pretty much how banana works. You have to basically, it's like a clone. Each banana is a clone of the one that came before. Each banana, it's been like that for, I'm not going to put number. Does that, I mean, do you understand, or do we understand what they wrote differently?
Oh yeah, I understand that the banana became seedless, but it does say that the original banana was full of seeds and it was hard to eat.
Where does it say
Banana
that?
was full of seeds.
I didn't hear you read that. Maybe I missed
Yeah,
it.
right here it says the banana you know and love is a variety called a cavendish. This plump pouch of potassium is a descendant of the wild banana herb, whose fruit is so small and full of seeds it is nearly inedible.
Okay.
But ten
Okay. I get it. Okay. Keep going.
but about 10,000 years ago, somewhere in the forests of Southeast Asia, one of these wild plants dropped its fruit to the jungle floor, and inside its dense black seeds hid a happy genetic accident. Something was different about its DNA because its banana's offspring grew tall, healthy, and seedless. And
Okay.
that seedlessness made it easier to eat.
Okay. Okay. So we are talking about banana. I'm going to bring in scripture into this right now because today is a Sabbath day and I want to stay scripture. But what do you think about what you just read right now? Like, what do you what do you think about this? Do you see any, like, what do you think about this?
I don't eat bananas myself, so I don't. I mean, I'm just going by what they say. They could write anything. I don't know. I don't know if that's true or not. I can only go by what they say. I
Do you
don't know.
do you see do you see any, is there a problem? Do you see anything that's
Well,
kind
there's
of
a problem because they say nearly about 10,000 years ago. How would they know that?
exactly? Exactly. You and I are on the same page. So this is the problem I have with these people. Okay? So look, let me tell you something. um exactly what you think, exactly what you just said, that's what came to my mind. And that's what I think. So if you notice how they wrote that, just look at that. The last part that you read, it says that the original banana was what? Something, and was in a
It
plant
said
somewhere? Go ahead.
it was small and full of seeds.
Hmm. Now, they say something about some genetic accident. There was a part about genetic accident.
Oh yeah, they said about 10,000 years ago, somewhere in the forest of Southeast Asia, one of the plants fell on the ground, and the black seeds had a happy genetic accident.
Okay. So, like you asked, how do they know this? That's 10,000 years ago, not 10 months ago. If it's 10 months ago, we could say, okay, maybe one of them was over there. So, how do they know what happened 10,000 years ago in the forest? Did you see how they describe this? They describe this as if they were there. And this is the problem with our people. When they hear stuff like this, this is which website did it come from? Science something? There we,
Cropscience.byler.com.
there we go. So a normal Hebrew Israelite, a normal black person will hear this and just open their mouth and swallow it and just all the way into their stomach. So whenever you hear somebody say 10,000 years ago or 10 million years ago or 100 million years ago, that's nonsense. The Europeans will say that's bull crap. Yeah, that's what it is. Because how do they know? But what usually happens is that if you push them, if you ask them, how did you know? Do you know the next thing that they will say? They will say, it's a theory. Oh, is it a theory? So how come you don't say it's a theory? How come you're saying it as if it's the truth? And then if you disagree with this, they say you are anti-science, which of course I am. I hate science. Science is a religion from Satan. I hate science. A religion that says that the world has no creator. Damn them. And science should not be taught to children. And when people don't realize that there's a science people don't realize that there's a difference between science and engineering. It's not the same thing. Your car has nothing to do with science. A lot of people don't know this. So somebody might be thinking, well, you say you don't like science. So look at all this knowledge, all this car. Look at a car, a bicycle. Look at all this is all science. No, it's not science. It's engineering. Science has nothing to do with those things. Engineering and science is two different things. Two, like night and day. Science, two different things. Science is ideas. It's nothing practical. It's a religion. A religion that the foundation of science is that there's no creator. There's no creator. It's very sad because Hebrew children go to school and study science, and you put them in such a very awkward situation where they have to pretend in front of their friends that they believe science. Science that say there is no God. But then they come home, they believe what you're saying about the Most High. Because your children cannot talk about our Heavenly Father in front of their friends. Evolution, that's science. These are science ideology. That's a science theory. It's a scientific theory. A theory. So a theory means that they don't know. So a theory is like, hey, 25,000 years ago, a chicken was crossing the road and a car hit the chicken, and then the chicken turns into a goat. And you shouldn't be eating. That's how goat came about, because 25,000 years ago, a chicken was crossing the street and the chicken was hit by a car, and chicken turns into a goat.
You're killing me, Pat.
No, that's true. And everybody will keep on straight face. You're supposed to be serious. And people are nodding their head. They're learning. This is science. I'm not making this up. This is science. Now, if you ask them, just a simple question, how did you know this? They will say, well, it's a theory. The problem is that 99%, most of the time, when they put out all this garbage, this nonsense that can only come from people who are mentally ill, when they put these things out, usually they don't say a theory. And our people will just accept it as if it's true. And your own people, as the one that will say to you, man, this your religion thing is getting into your head. You are even opposing science now. So if it's science, you're not supposed to say anything. You're supposed to shut up your mouth and keep quiet, because it's science. And how dare you challenge science? It's a science. Now, let me give you something. And from now on, I'm going to tell you something that you've been hearing, and you may not even notice this. But from now on, pay attention to this. You're going to be hearing this. You're going to see it on video on YouTube. You will see this on videos on YouTube, on TVs, on radios. You're going to be hearing this. Between now and the next year, you will hear this. Somewhere, I don't know where, but you're going to hear this. Somebody is going to be talking. Someone will be talking, and you're listening. The next thing they say is, 300 million years ago, 100 million years ago, this happened, this happened, and this happened, and this happened. And they will just talk like that. They will just speak seriously. They mean exactly what they just talk, and everyone just keep quiet. Like, oh wow, 100 million years. So he will say 100 million years ago. Now keep listening. In about a month or two, you're going to hear someone else that will say 5,000 years ago. So there's never one number. If you ask 100 scientists when the earth appeared, because according to them, the earth just appeared out of nowhere. If you ask 100 scientists, they will give you 100 answer. They will not give you that 50 million years ago. So if you go to this school and you ask a scientist, when did the earth create itself? This scientist will say 30 million years ago. You go to this person who say 40 million years ago. They are so dumb and stupid that they can't even have one number. These people, these so-called educated people, are so dumb and stupid, they can't even come together and have one number at least. So they don't have to look like an ass. How can I accept your science when this so-called professor is speaking? He said that Big Bang Theory happened 100 million years ago. Next month, I hear somebody say 30 million years ago. So which one is it? You have no idea how dumb and stupid these people are. They are referred in the Bible as with different names. Animals, beasts, foolish. This time I'm going to use foolish. These so-called scientists, the worldly scientists, they can't even have a meeting and have one number. If we are going to promote our theory that the earth created itself, can we at least have one number so we don't have to look like idiots? Because it looks bad. If Mr. Smith is speaking in New York, he will say that the earth was created 100 million years ago. 2 months later, Mr. John is speaking in London. He will say that the earth was created 30 million years ago. That looks bad. So which one is it? Let me ask you something. Do you really think that these people believe this nonsense? You really think so? These theories are not meant for them. This is meant for you. This is meant to distract you from your God. This is the garbage that are being filled into the brains of our children. When the fools who are promoting this nonsense don't even believe what they're saying. Or maybe they do. Just watch. Watch from now on and see. Somebody is going to be talking and he's supposed to be doctor, professor. This doctor professor will tell you that the earth created itself 1 billion years ago. How did you know? How did you find out? Who were there to find out? And then they will go on to give you a description of what happened. Just like you see in what the brother just read. They say that more than 10,000 years ago, there was a different kind of banana. And that banana was in the forest somewhere in Asia. And something fell from the banana and fell to the ground. And then there was a genetic thing that happened. And if you don't really know, if you are like most of our people, you would think that these people were over there with camera. You would think that they had a camera on that banana for 24 hours a day, and they saw the whole thing on camera. That's how they talk. And our people believe this nonsense. This is nonsense. I don't just hate science. I hate it because it makes no sense. If you're going to create a theory to challenge the Most High, if you are going to create a theory to challenge the Bible and say that there's no creator, can you at least have something that makes sense? It's like saying that a car created itself. And we clap, hey, that's scientists. They were able to figure out that the car created itself. These people are fools. Scientists are fools. All scientists are fools. Anyone that calls themselves scientist is a fool. A fool. Oh my goodness. What am I talking about? Let's see what the Bible calls them. Psalm chapter 14. Because you may think, brother, that's too harsh for you to say. How come you say that they're a fool? Why would you call them a fool? That's disrespectful. I disrespect them. These people are foolish. They are dumb people. Look at Psalm chapter 14. Fools say in their heart, there is no God. Foolish people say in their heart, there is no God. But why? The Bible will tell you why they say there is no God. They say it for a particular reason. There's a reason why they say it. And this will tell you why they say there's no God. Psalm 14 verse 1. Fools say in their heart, there is no God. They are corrupt. They do abominable deeds. There is no one who does good. There is nobody that say there is no God and he does a good thing. No, they are abominable. They are either having sex with their children or sex with their brother. They are either having sex with their dog. Because if you believe there is no God, then who cares about the word of God, right? If you believe that there is no God, then the word of God is nothing. And that will allow you to keep having sex with your dog. It is a very sad situation that we have to let these foolish people, these animals, educate our children. It's sad. It's really sad. It's actually worse than the Canaanites educating our children. I don't understand. Well, we don't know, right? But is that really an excuse? Is it okay to be sending Hebrew children to the Canaanite to educate them because we don't know? What kind of people are they going to become when they are educated by the Canaanite? What kind of people? What kind of people? So I'm not saying this to dismiss what you're saying about bananas. I will give up banana like yesterday. I don't care. There are many other things that the Most High created. But I'm not going to give it up because some foolish European thing that they call professor that takes shower like once every 3 months tells me that 10,000 years ago there was a banana in Southeast Asia, and that banana fell to the ground, and there was some genetic thing that happened, genetic mutation that happened, and then that's how we got the banana we have today. And I'm supposed to now leave the banana. Okay, let me slow down. Let's go back. I've brought this into the scriptures, so let's go back again. What do they say in that paper? Do you see how they condemned the process that banana came about? The Most High designed it that way. Banana doesn't have seed intentionally. It was intentionally meant not to have seed. Just like coconut. Coconut have water in the sky. So who puts the water inside? I ate coconut, I think it was last Sabbath or the day after last Sabbath or something. And I drank the water. It tastes good. Have you ever asked yourself how coconut develops that water that goes inside the coconut? This is what the Most High does. So he created all these things, different ways. Banana was specifically designed that it doesn't have seed. So what they're doing in that article, that medical thing that the brother read, what they're doing there is that they're condemning that process. You see what they called it? I was listening. I listened to what you read. They called it cloning. So I'm not the kind of person that just goes on the internet and sees because some white man said that something is bad, then I come and tell you it's bad. No. That's not me. I'm not like that. I judge things using the law of the Most High. So what they're doing here is to create confusion. That's what's going on here. Because we know that there are things that they are altering. Do you see what they're doing here? Can you spiritually see what they're doing? They are altering a bunch of stuff. So the idea is to also tell you that the ones that they haven't altered has been altered. So now you're confused. You don't know which one has been altered. You don't know which one. That's what's going on here. But if you're spiritual, you'll be able to discern when bull crap comes into their explanation. 10,000 years ago. How did you know that? And not only was it 10,000 years ago, but it was in the wilderness, in a forest somewhere in Asia. And white people happened to be in Asia at that time with their cameras and saw what happened, right? They were able to see from the satellite. They were watching from the satellite 10,000 years ago and saw that banana, fall in the wilderness. Do you see how dumb that thing sound? I will never write something like that. And I'm not even educated. Don't you see how dumb that thing sounds? And it comes from biosomething.com. And these are people educating your children. Would you not feel embarrassed telling somebody that something happened 10,000 years ago and you're talking as if you were there? So they are so shameless and so stupid. Not only did they mention 10,000 years ago, which is already a red flag. That's already a red flag. That right there is a red flag already. Not only did they say 10,000 years ago, but they go on to tell you that it was in a forest in Asia. And this is science. It came from a scientific website. And these are people doing the education. 10,000 years ago, if I were them, if I were a professor, a scientific professor, I wouldn't even say something about forest and Asia. Because I know you will laugh at me. That's not even a joke. It's not even funny. A man that tells you that something happened 10,000 years ago in a forest in Asia, that man needs to be caught and bind together and sent to a mental hospital. That man needs a psychiatric treatment. He's mentally ill. That's how crazy things are these days. Everything is upside down. So now you have mentally ill people running around claiming to be scientists. And we let them educate our children. They tell us that 10,000 years ago, there was something that happened in a forest in Asia. 10,000 years ago. And we cheer, hey, professor. These scientists need to be bound together and be held in a mental hospital. All of them. All scientists are mentally ill. All of them. This is not funny. These people have mental illness. A man that keep a straight face and tell you that 10,000 years ago something happened. Not in his house. His ancestors did not see it. But it happened in a different continent where he was. Or he was not 10,000 years ago. Nobody was alive 10,000 years ago that's alive today. Can you, am I, okay, all right, okay, I give up, I surrender. Maybe I'm the one who is crazy. Maybe because I'm not educated, I am not able to understand scientific information. Maybe. Maybe it's actually possible for somebody that is alive today to saw what happened 10,000 years ago in a forest in Asia. I rest my case. I'm not educated in the worldly system. Maybe I don't see it. Maybe it makes sense. Maybe they're right. Yeah. Maybe. I would like to recommend a movie for you. I don't normally recommend a movie, but I watched this movie and I have a lot of DVDs of this movie. It's a documentary. It's not a movie. It's a documentary. It's called Expelled. Expelled. You know, like when you expel somebody from from school. When you expel someone from school, it's called expel. No intelligence allowed. Expelled. No intelligence allowed. That is what it's called. I don't know if I can find it right now, but you could look it up. Google it. Expelled. 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 No intelligence allowed. Here we go. Make sure you type in expelled. No intelligence allowed. Expelled. No intelligence allowed. Now, let me give you an idea of how you're going to see it. You're going to see a man with a bullhorn. A man that has a bullhorn. So it's a documentary. Don't watch it today. Today is a Sabbath day. Watch it after the Sabbath. Now, this is a documentary from the Gentiles. And I love it. Oh my goodness. No, I don't love the document. Hold on. Let me finish. I love to see the hidden expose themselves. I love to see the hidden fight. Because it makes my job easier. I wouldn't have to explain much because you could see it. So what these heathens did is that they went and they exposed science. This documentary is so good for me that want to crush the scientific world because they are mentally ill. They're mentally ill. I like that documentary so much because if you are a staunch big atheist, if you love atheism, if you hate the Most High, if you don't believe in a creator, after watching that documentary, you will be disappointed. So, what this man did was to take a camera and begin to go to universities, because he was hearing that scientists were being kicked out. So, if you are in a university and you're a scientist, a professor, as long as you don't believe in God, you're good to go. You will get money, you will get grants, you get millions of dollars to study whatever you want to study. These universities get grants from billionaires, from the government or whatever, and then they will get all these millions of dollars. Universities, okay? The top universities get millions of dollars. And what they do is that if you are a professor in that university, whatever you want to study, you can now apply for grant, and your school will give you $5, $6, $7 million to create your own lab and study whatever you're studying. This is how the world has been filled with a bunch of dangerous chemicals. That's what these animals are doing. Now, there's a problem. If you happen to believe that there's a creator, you're done. They will never say a word to you, even if you are white. Even if you're a white man or a white woman. If you ever dare to believe that there's a creator, you are marked, you're blackmailed. And they will eventually force you out. And you will apply for grant, they will not give it to you. Now listen, they are not doing this to black people. They are doing this to white people. If you are white and you believe that there's a creator, if you are white and you believe that there's a creator, you're done. The only way you're going to survive in the school system is even if you believe there's a creator, don't mention it, don't say anything about it. If you ever say it out in the public and if you promote that, you're marked. They will not fire you because you might sue them. But what they will do is that when you apply for a grant, you will not receive that grant. They will find one way or the other to make you not qualify for the grant. So this is what they've been doing for years. This man's name is Ben Stan. Ben Stan. So he found out that scientists or professors are being kicked out. Many of them, they are doing very well. They are successful. They are doing very well academically. But as soon as they open their mouth and say that there's a creator, they are marked and no more. Whatever level that they are at that point, that's where eventually they'll get kicked out. No more grant, none of those things anymore. And at some point, you will just pack your bag and just go do something else. Because in order for you to keep climbing that ladder, you need to get those millions of dollars from the school to do your studies. What does that mean? They don't give a damn what you're studying. Just tell them that you want to study this or that. You apply for grant. They give you $2 million or they give you $3 million. Then you hire student. You hire PhD students who are doing their PhD. You hire them into your lab. So from that grant that you got, that's where you draw your salary. You can be paying yourself $200,000 a year from that grant and pay your student $80,000 or $100,000 a year. It's all scam. It's a scam. It's a scam. Yeah, that's how they come to become better than you, right? That's how they have more wealth than you. Their wealth is artificial. It's a fake wealth. Fake. Their wealth is fake. It's not real wealth. So, as long as you don't believe that there's a creator, you're good. If you watch that documentary, you will see all this. So this man, Ben Stan, now found out that this is what's going on. So he decided to do a documentary about it and find out if it's true. And he began to go to these universities and was talking to scientists who has been kicked out because they believe that there's a creator. So if you happen to be a young person and you want to go into that world, you better shut your mouth. You better shut your mouth. Because if anybody ever finds out that you believe in creationism, if you believe that the world has an intelligent design, that is how they describe it. If you believe that the world is intelligently designed, then you're not going anywhere. And all these people that has been kicked out, they were all helpless. They know exactly what's going on, but what can they do? They cannot file for lawsuit. They can't file a lawsuit because they didn't fire you like that, or they'll wait for you to do something wrong and then they fire you. So that was what the documentary was all about. But then, what this man did is to talk to top scientists. So if you are an atheist, these will be the men that you look up to. These are men at the top of science. These are like your apostles. So he went after them. And you will see it in that documentary. He went to talk to these apostles of atheism. Apostles of evolution. Darwinism is the word. Darwinism. He went after them to talk to them, to interview them. That will be one of the most painful interviews you will watch, because you're going to watch these men who are supposed to be powerful in evolution, in Darwinism. You're going to watch these men. Some of them actually admitted and said, yeah, there's a possibility that there's a creator. Yeah, of course. This man was able to get them to admit, yeah. So if you are an atheist and you don't believe that there's a creator, and then you watch the apostle saying, because the interviewer, Ben Stan, he interviewed a lot of different people who are top evolutionists, and he was able to get them to admit that there's a possibility that there could be a God. Do you remember the question I asked about 10 minutes ago? Do they really believe this nonsense that they're teaching? That 10,000 years ago this happened? Do they really believe that? You have to understand that these men are rewarded to promote this garbage. These men are able to make $200,000-$300,000 a year to promote this garbage. U.S. government, American government, and corporations and rich people give millions of dollars to these universities. And these so-called professors now draw this money. And in order to keep getting this money, they have to keep promoting this garbage. Now, when somebody talks to them one-on-one, like that man did in that documentary, and asks them questions, that's when you realize, whoa, okay. So what do I believe? If my apostles don't even believe, if my apostles are not sure, imagine, I'm not going to use myself tonight. Just like, imagine Paul the apostle saying that, I'm not sure about the law. I don't know if we should keep it or not. I'm not sure. Wait a minute. I thought you, Paul the apostle, I thought you know the law. I thought you were a lawyer. I thought you were a Pharisee. How can you be a Pharisee and not be sure about the law? But again, these people are rewarded. These people make $150,000, $200,000 a year to do their so-called scientific studies. That's how they draw this money from the universities. So they have to promote this thing. They have to keep the scam going. So what does this do to us? What does this do to the Hebrew children? Do you think that the Hebrew children know that this is a scam? Do you think that Hebrew children will be made to watch the documentary Expelled? We, Hebrew Israelites, are sending their children to school to learn science. It doesn't matter where you are. Africa, Asia, Caribbean, Middle East, worldwide. This filth, this abomination have gone around the world. Every school teaches science. Every public school teaches science. Science is a bad thing. Science is a religion. It's literally a religion based on that millions of years ago, the earth created itself. Now, a question that they have not answered is the question they haven't answered. So, if you believe in evolution, so how come for the past couple of thousand years, man hasn't evolved? So how come man has stayed the same way? They actually believe that human being came from plant. So from a plant, a pistachio, whatever they call it. That's what they believe. The problem, what I really care about is not what these mad people, these mentally ill people believe. The problem is, what does this do to a Hebrew child who has been educated and indoctrinated and taught this nonsense? Here you are talking about the Most High, our Heavenly Father. And there he was thinking that the world is billions of years old. How can that boy or that girl ever take the word of the Most High seriously? If the world has no creator, then the word of the Most High means nothing. So it's okay to lose your virginity to whoever you like. It's okay to have sex with any girl you want. Oh, it is also okay for a boy to have sex with a boy. Because at this point, if the world has no creator, then Leviticus chapter 20:13 doesn't apply. Leviticus 20:13 means nothing. That says that a man cannot have sex with a man. Do you see what is happening here? And you wonder why our young people are slaughtering each other. You wonder why. And you don't understand why I keep telling you that things are going to get worse. Because the only thing that restrains us from acting like animals is the law. Look at the Europeans. They act like animals.
I know he's going to give it to me. Thank you, brother. With regard to my soul. You know, and
Okay. So if you the only thing that restrains us, there's something that King Solomon said in Ecclesiastes chapter 3. Look at what he said there. So without the law of the Most High, there's nothing that controls us. It's like everybody is following their heart. Would you want to live in a world where everybody follows their heart? I don't want to live in that world. You don't want to live in a world where everybody just follows their heart. We need to be restrained. This is the manual for life. So you wonder why our young people are slaughtering each other. You wonder why it's so easy for them to pull the trigger. Without even thinking twice that they themselves are going to be thrown into a cage for the rest of their life. The law of the Most High was supposed to deter us. The law of the Most High was supposed to deter us from killing each other. It has been replaced with threat of prison. Is that working out? Most of the people in their prison is our people. The threat of prison is not deterring us. So when I talk about those attacks, you may not understand. Teaching science to children is dangerous for the children. The worst thing you could do to a child is to teach them that the world has no creator. When they go to school and learn science, that's what science is all about. You need to understand. Again, it's easy for you to get scared and think, well, brother, the world needs science. Brother, the world needs science because look at cars, look at motorcycles, look at all this machine, look at your phone. No. Science has nothing to do with car or motorcycle or your phone. It has nothing to do with science. That's one of the lies that they have out there and keep you confused. So you think that your children need science. No, the world doesn't need science. Science is an idea. It's ideology that has its foundation that there is no God. That's number one. So if you open a scientific Bible, the first chapter, Genesis, will be there's no God. So let's just get over that. Let's just get through that. There's no God. And then we get into millions of years ago, this happened over there and over there. And then after that, human being now appeared out of nowhere. So if human being appeared after the Big Bang, so how did you know what happened before human being? Nobody is asking that question. Science is dangerous for us. Science will keep a lot of us out of the kingdom of heaven. The only thing that restrains us is the law. But when you teach us that the world has no creator, when you teach that to young people, why should she not have sex with any boy she likes? Why? She doesn't believe in the Bible because there's no creator. If there's no creator, there's no Bible. Again, you wonder why our young people are slaughtering each other. You wonder why it's so easy for them to pull that trigger. It is the law that says, thou shalt not kill. You should love your brother. Do unto others the way you would like to be done unto you. Well, if a boy or a girl goes to school and learn about science, which we encourage them to learn science, that's what we do. Because we've been deceived. Electricity, cars, cell phone, computer, these things have nothing to do with science. It's engineering. Engineering. That's why if you have iPhone, it says in the back of your iPhone, designed in California, made in China. Big tech companies have engineers. These engineers design these things. They are not scientists, they are engineers. If you see a tall building, it has nothing to do with science. It's all about engineering. And the spirit of engineering comes from the Most High. Our Heavenly Father is the one that gives that spirit, as you see in the book of Exodus. Before they build the temple, the Most High put spirit of craftsmanship on certain people. So they're able to craft things. That is engineering. So what they did is to kind of like put a small screen and kind of distract you. So you it's like kind of muddy that water a little bit, kind of make it, you're not sure what science is. Because the name sounds expensive. It sounds rich. Science. Science is nothing but ideology. It's ideas. Ideas. So some people, especially our people, will get scared. They will get scared and be like, well, we need science, you know. Look at all this development. No, it has nothing to do with science. And you don't see engineers running around saying that there's no God. Because engineers are busy developing things. Engineers are busy designing stuff and making stuff. Engineers don't care whether there's a God or not or whatever. They don't speak against God. So what these animals have done is to kind of like position themselves a little bit and kind of like go and stand there. They went and stand very close to the engineering people. And then they start talking. So you're not sure, you know, which is which. You're not really sure. And then this will keep you wanting your children to go and learn, to push your children to go and learn science. It's a religion, an ideological, it's an ideology. It's an idea. Science is all about belief. Believe. Well, I believe that 300 million years ago, there is some gas that came from this, and then that gas mixed with this gas, and they exploded, and then there's a world. It's a belief. It's amazing how they speak against those that believe in the Bible. Scientists do. They're like, well, how can you people believe in a book that was written thousands of years ago? Well, at least I have a book. I have a book that says the same thing every 100 years, every 1,000 years. The book says the same thing. It's better than the mental illness that you people have now that says that, so this person is standing over here saying that 300 million years ago there was a Big Bang theory. The other person is standing on the other corner saying that 400 million years ago there's a Big Bang theory. This person is standing over here saying that oh my goodness, it's a mental illness. And we are supposed to throw away the Bible and listen to you guys. Even though you have told me that this is a theory. Do you not know what a theory is, my brothers and sisters? A theory. If you push them, if you ask them, how did you know that 3,000 years ago that this happened? Or 10,000 years ago? Or 100 million? If you ask them, they'll say, well, it's a theory. Oh, it's a theory. Then shut your mouth then. It's just a belief. You believe. It's just a belief. That's another word. When somebody says that my theory is that 10,000 years ago this happened, it's exactly somebody saying my belief. I believe that 10,000. Yeah, that's your belief. So let's not teach your belief to our children. We don't need to teach your belief to our children. But their belief is now being taught to our children as if it's real. the beliefs, the theories, the beliefs, which they have zero evidence. Zero evidence, because it's impossible to have an evidence for that, such a mental craziness. They have zero evidence. We have archaeological evidence. Archaeological evidence, meaning that stuff have been dug out of the ground that proves the Bible. One of them is called the Masha stone or the Moabite stone. Google it or go to YouTube and type it in. The Moabite stone. The Moabite stone or the Masha stele. We have other things, other prophecies, other things that prove the scriptures. These so-called scientists have zero evidence. And they will be the first to tell you, but you have to ask though. As soon as you ask them, they will be quick to tell you that this is a theory. So theory is a belief. My theory is that there was blah, 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 blah. Well, that's just my theory. That's just my belief. Just because I believe that doesn't mean it's true. And just because I believe it doesn't mean that it must be taught to your children. And if you don't allow this to be taught to your children, then you're going to jail. Do you realize that they're doing that? There are some states that if your children don't go to school to learn this garbage, they will go to jail. You will go to jail. And you still don't know why I hate them, right? You still don't know why I hate people that will throw you in jail because you refuse to be taught their belief according to their own admission. It's a theory. So let me close on this. There are things that has been genetically modified. Yes. There are things that they have genetically modified recently. And that is what matters. The ones that they modify recently. There's nothing that they modified 2,000 years ago on food. There's nothing that because there was no technology to do this at that time. There was no technology to do this at that time. If they had the technology to do it, they would have done it as soon as they had the technology. Most of the genetically modified stuff was recently, just like they're doing till today. And they will do more. I showed you a video where they are now trying to modify mosquitoes. So this mosquito will be genetically modified to fly around so they can go to a village. They can come to a city and open up something and let all these genetically modified mosquitoes fly out and go around the city. They can be driving around and just let it out. They will drive around your neighborhood and just let the mosquito fly out and start looking for people at night to bite. So when the mosquito bites you, when it bites you, it injects that thing inside of your body. This is what they are doing right now. That's what they're trying to figure out. And I shared the video with you. So that's why I say that these people are a threat to this world. They are a threat to this world. Now, some people know that it's true, but they're scared to say it. They don't want to be called a racist. Of course, I'm a racist. Of course. I told you that. I'm a racist. I hate white people. I hate women. So sometimes women, I will speak against women. And then women will say, They might suggest, or you might think that I hate women. If you think I hate women, I hate women. So last thing I will do is to go in denial, because I know what you're doing. So if you think that you push me in a corner, I will go and then I'll be like, no, I'm not a racist. No, I am a racist. And I hate women too. I hate women that don't want to keep the law of the Most High. I love women that keep the law of the Most High. I despise women that don't want to keep the law of the Most High. And I'm not kidding. I despise them. So there are things that they're messing with right now. But what they are also trying to do, is to create, like what the brother read, to create all this fake information. They will now tell you that, for example, they have modified apple from Canada. So canola oil was something that was developed in Canada by a scientist. That's where the word came from, canola. It was taken from the word Canada. So it came from it's a seed oil. In Canada, they also genetically modify an apple, which they were successful in their attempt to put that apple inside the stores, to start selling it in stores. I think he may have already gone into stores, or it will soon be sold in stores. So they are genetically modifying things. They are doing that. What they are also trying to do is to come up with all these stupid, mentally ill, so-called scientific papers to tell you that this have also been modified. That was modified 10,000 years ago. This was modified 4,000 years ago. This was modified. So the idea is to have all this stuff. So it now makes it difficult for an average person to know what is modified and what is not modified. And eventually, at some point, you will give up. At some point, it becomes so difficult to find out what's real and what's not real. You just give up and just wait. You will just be like, you know what? We're gonna die anyway. I'm gonna die anyway. So what's the point? It's so hard to find out what's real and what's not real. So let me just eat. I'm going to die anyway. That's what they're doing. To create. This is what they've always done. This is what they do. So create false information as much as possible to make it difficult to find out what's real and what's not. Same thing with religion. Their religion, Christianity. So you have Catholics, Pentecostal, Anglicans, Seventh-day Adventist, Baptist, Calvinist. Now you also have IUIC, all the congregations that meet on Saturday, they're all Christians. All the congregation that keep Sabbath on Saturday, they are all Christians, because Saturday is not the Sabbath and Sunday is not the Sabbath. And the goal is to have all these things that at some point you just scratch your head, you don't know where to start. You have no idea where to start. And you just join one of them. You just choose the one that looks less evil and join them. No, they're all fake. They're all fake. Because you can never worship the true God until you worship him using his calendar. You can never meet him on that appointment day until you meet him on the day that he asks you to meet him. And he did give you a calendar, which is the moon. Be careful on what you eat. Be careful. Eat natural. There's nothing wrong with banana. I'm sure in the future there will. But for now, there's nothing wrong with banana. You know, what this also shows, or what this also makes clear, is the importance of staying away from the hidden. If you are in a small village somewhere, it's much, much easier to find naturally grown food. It's much, much easier to see natural things that was grown by local women. Natural. And they usually wait. They usually wait for that thing to be ready before it will be harvested. They don't wait in Western culture because it has to be harvested much earlier before it's ready. It has to be taken to the warehouse. It has to be taken to the store. So what usually happens is that, for example, apple. That's why the apple tastes so bad. It tastes horrible. So why does the apple taste so horrible? Because the apple is not ready to be harvested, but they have to harvest it much earlier before it's ready, because it has to be harvested, it has to be transported to the grocery store warehouse. It has to go from the warehouse to the stores. It has to be on the shelf for days. So they have to harvest these things much, much, much earlier. That's why they don't taste good. Plus the chemicals that they add in there. So oftentimes what they now do is that they will quote unquote wax the apple. They wax it. So they will use a paint and paint it red, or put some paint and it looks like it's not real. If you take that apple and you cook hot water, very hot water, and you pour it on that apple, you see the paint go away. The paint will just melt. But this is the same apple with all that paint that we buy. We buy it, we wash it, and we put it in our mouth. And we're chewing that apple. We're chewing that apple. Sometimes we eat 3 or 4. We eat those apples. Do you think that those paint will just leave your body? Those paints are chemical. This is the reason why that we have now been guaranteed to have this disease or that disease or this cancer or this one or that one by the time you're 70, 80. Guaranteed. People don't die naturally anymore as they used to. Whatever they have on that apple to make it look good doesn't belong in your body, because that's not the way the Most High made it. So there is already famine. There's already famine in the Western countries. You know what a famine is, right? Meaning there's no food. There's already famine. So what's going on is that they're using fake food to make up. There's already famine in the land, but they're using fake food to make up. So when you come into a store, there's like a bunch of stuff everywhere. Bunch of stuff. And you're smiling. You're thinking that you know, everything is fine. Brother, I'll get to you, my brother Heaven. Just hold on. Somebody from Ethiopia, an Ethiopian woman, told me a story. She told me a story that when she, you know, she was working in a grocery store. No, in a 99-cent store. Yeah. 99-cent store. Coke and Coca-Cola is not really, it's not that cheap in Africa. It's not that cheap. So this woman, because Coca-Cola is not cheap in Africa, so she went to America and she got a job at 99-cent store. She told me that when she goes to her shift, she would take giant soda and put it on her side. and be drinking it while she's walking because she was so excited. Look at this thing that is so expensive in Africa. It's 99 cents over here. 99 cents. What she did not realize is that that thing was slowly making her fat and depositing all that chemical inside that Coca-Cola in her body. So it's difficult to find real food. I advise don't eat. Don't. If you love yourself, do not eat beef in America. Why? Because they are forcing the cows to eat corn. There's nothing wrong with beef. Cow meat is fine. But they are forcing it to eat corn. Not just any corn, but GMO corn. They are giving the chickens chaff from genetically modified soybean chaff. So the soybean oil industry, most of the stuff you see in the store, many of the things you see in the store, when you go inside the store, the chips, the breads, oh my goodness, most of these things are made with either canola oil or soybean oil. Canola oil or soybean oil. And these are genetically modified. About 93% of the soybean oil in America is genetically modified. It's so cheap, they use it in many of these things. So, you be careful what you eat because, as they say, you are what you eat. It's very difficult to find real food, but I'm going to basically, I think you get the point. The so-called scientists are mentally ill. They're mentally ill. Any scientist, anybody that claims to be a scientist they have mental illness. And listen to them long enough, they begin to say some dumb stuff. And people will just keep straight face and keep listening. And will actually take them seriously. So I do care about these things. So I'm not trying to disprove because I like banana or whatever. I can give up banana anytime. I don't care. Banana is not the only thing that I eat. I eat other things. So if banana is bad, I will be the first to give it up. Because I don't want to die before my time. So it's not just to dismiss banana or dismiss the concern about banana. If I see anything wrong about banana, I will be the first to stop eating it and I will let you know. I will let you know, stay away from it. See, the problem that they have, and you can see it from that article that the brother read. What the brother read, you can see it there. Just think about this. You see, you don't understand why I say that they're dumb. They're stupid. Do you see how they described the process of planting banana? They called it cloning. It's not cloning. It's the way the Most High made it. Bananas don't have seed. Plantains don't have seed. That's the way the Most High made them. So they don't understand it. They find it strange that everything has seed, or most things have seed, this one don't have seed. What about coconut? Are we going to not eat that too? Because we can't understand how come it produces water up in the sky. How did water get inside coconut? Because see, other things don't have water inside, right? Just, do you see how disconnected these people are from the Most High? They are so disconnected from our Heavenly Father. And it says a lot as to who they are. It says a lot. A simple process. Like a woman getting pregnant, having a baby in her stomach, and giving birth. The things that the Most High designed. So the process of planting and growing banana, is strange to them. And they call it cloning. Hey, there are foods out there that has been genetically modified. Yes, just be careful. Buy organic, I guess. Is it really organic? Why is it organic? Why do we think it's organic? Because the USDA said so? Really? The United States Department of Agriculture says it's organic. So that makes it organic? Listen, I personally, this is my theory. This is my scientific theory. I hate science, by the way. I personally believe that the men and the women who are actually growing organic food may not actually be rich enough to invite the USDA. The big companies who are quote unquote growing organics are able to register, do whatever, register, and the so-called agents from the inspectors from the USDA will go over there. One man or two people will drive over to the factory and they will be shown, okay, look at this, look at that. This is a proof we're doing organic. And they don't get to come back until like the next 3 months. And then the people that went from the inspectors will go back to their office and say, this company is growing organic. Because we went over there 3 months ago and they showed us this and showed us that, and we can see that they're growing organic. But we don't go there every week. No. We don't go there every month. No. It's once in a while we go for inspection. And that makes, so now we give them the label to put USDA verified organic or whatever. USDA certified organic. Again, I am not educated. Okay? I am not educated. I don't like scientists because they hate the Most High. They don't believe in a creator. I hate them too. I think that, again, there are regular people, poor people, men and women who are growing real organic. But they may not be rich enough to invite the so-called USDA. They may not have enough space to invite them. Oh my goodness, there's another documentary. It is called What the Health. What the Health. What? Like what? What are you doing? What? What the Health. When I watched this documentary, this is one of the most powerful documentaries I've ever watched. Remember what I told you earlier. I love to see heathens expose heathens. Because heathens have been lying to us for centuries. So I love to sit back and watch them expose their lies. I loved when the heathens were exposing themselves that they never went to the moon. Because it makes my job easier. It's very difficult to convince Hebrew Israelites that what they've been told by the Europeans are not true. Very difficult. It makes it easier when I can take something from an European to show an Israelite, look, this is an European telling you that this is what they're doing. this documentary called Water Health. This guy went behind the scenes to show you something that is, I was thinking to myself, I never even thought about this. I would not have ever thought about this. So what am I talking about? This guy was able to dig through and came across real evidence, real proof that American Heart Association, American Lung Association, all these organizations that are supposed to be protecting you were getting their money from the industry they're supposed to be protecting you from. So the American government agencies or all these people that are supposed to be protecting you, you know, like people that when you go to the store and you see something and you see their name, you relax, you buy that thing and you eat that thing. These people were being funded by the people that they are telling you are the bad guys. So they tell you that the cigarette industry is bad for you, but then they turn around and take money from them. It's like that. It's kind of like that. And that's what this documentary was about. He was exposing this very well documentary, very well documented. And after watching that documentary, you would never, in fact, you would never even trust these people ever again. Because you're thinking to yourself, wait a minute. This organization, like the cancer industry, have you ever wondered why they've never found a cure for cancer? Because it's an industry. If they find a cure for cancer, a lot of people will lose their job. And besides, cancer does have a cure. But again, if you actually follow that cure, people will lose their job. It's a scam. And you are the one being scammed. Every single one of us, I don't care who you are, we all have certain cells in our body. Most of us used to live our life and die. Nothing happens. But because of the things that we're putting inside our body, these cells begin to grow. That is what you call cancer. There's nothing wrong with the cell itself. The Most High created us in a perfect way. They found out that when women go from Asian countries to the Americas, eventually they are more likely to develop breast cancer. It is the food. It is what you're eating. It is what you're putting in your mouth. That's what causes the cancer. Nobody is talking about that. They don't like to talk about that. Yeah, let's keep sending us money. Keep making donations. Keep dropping that $1 when you buy something in store. Yeah, we're looking for cure for cancer. And 50 years from now, they will still be looking for cure for cancer. And how dare you say something against that? I remember one time somebody was telling me about cancer. And he got angry because he felt like I wasn't interested. So how dare me not be interested in cancer? He got upset. The name of the documentary is called What the Health. I'm not going to share the link today, but Yah's willing, after the Sabbath, I will share the link. Because I don't want to, you don't watch stuff like that on a new moon day or the Sabbath day. It's a holy day. After the Sabbath day, you can watch it. You don't want to have something that would distract you from the law or distract you from this holy day. Say holy day, a set apart day, meaning that we're supposed to do. We don't do things that we normally do on this day. So today, I don't do like testing people or whatever, calling people and chatting or whatever. No. After today, we could do that. After the Sabbath day, you can watch those documentaries. I will share the links with you if it is still available. Because that what they held is even more eye-opening than the expelled that I mentioned. Expelled, no intelligence allowed. Expelled, like when you expel somebody, when you kick somebody out. Expelled, no intelligence allowed. Then the second one is what the health. What the health. He has like a red thing. The name is on red color. What the health. So look for it, search for it. I think you have to pay like money to watch it on YouTube. It's been a while since I saw it, so it's probably free. I was just suggest if I see it, I will share the link with you. You can watch it for free. But it will help you to understand what's really happening. So, again, there are foods that has been genetically modified. Yes. But be careful not to be overwhelmed with fake information, fake news, fake information that 10,000 years ago, mango was modified. 15,000 years ago, onions was modified. It's going to be overwhelming. You are just a human being. You are one person with one brain. When you get all this information, when you're overloaded with this has been modified, it's like at some point you just give up. And you would now rationalize, you'll be like, you know what? I don't really care anymore. We're going to die anyway. That's what they're trying to achieve. Be careful what you eat. Do natural things. I don't eat cereal. I don't drink soda. I don't eat these things. It's been years now since I ate gum. I used to eat gum a lot. I go to the store, I buy gum. I don't eat gum anymore. Why? Because of aspartame. Aspartame is a chemical that they put in gum. They use it to replace sugar. I don't eat those things anymore. It's like when I go to the store, like I see stuff that people are buying. I don't eat those things anymore. When Daniel went into Babylon, he refused to eat like the Babylonians. This matters a lot. This is about your life. It's about your life. So, again, there are food that has been genetically modified. Study it, look into it, be careful what you buy, but also be careful knowing fully well that there are some information about modification that are fake, like what we saw today. That is fake. That is fake. So why are they producing fake information? To confuse you, make it difficult, and make you to give up. Brother, can you come back before we close this and move on to the next question or something? Brother Haven, can you hear me? It looks like he's away from his phone. So again, if I do see anything negative about banana, I will share that with you right away. I will stop eating it and I will share that with you. One of the things that was recently modified, one of the last ones, is apple. Some apple. Okay. So they recently genetically modified apple in Canada. That doesn't mean that the apple in your area is bad yet. Eventually, they'll begin to sell it in different places. It's still new, from what I understand. Oh, I'm so glad I remembered this. When you eat apple,
What was your question?
so before we close, what I brought up, we're going to close this and go to a different question or a different whatever the other brothers and sisters have next. So do you understand what I explained? Do you understand that paper is fake?
Oh yeah, I guess. I mean, I never got my opinion about bananas off that website. I got my opinion off bananas by Dr. Sebi. I followed Dr. Sebi, and he said, "Don't eat bananas. Bananas is hybrid." And I've seen wild bananas. They don't look the same as store-bought bananas. They don't look the same. So it's like I don't eat seedless grapes.
Okay.
So you can't even find grapes with seeds anymore. So
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they've been genetically modified because all the grapes that I ate when I was a kid, they all had seeds in them.
Mm-hmm.
You can't even find seeds. You can't even find grapes with seeds nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, it's obvious these foods have been have been altered,
Mm-hmm.
original. So it means your body probably not gonna process them the same as they supposed to process.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, probably plus bananas does have a lot of sugar in it, so it's probably ain't the best for you to eat. But that's just my opinion. I mean, that's just from what I understand, from what I've seen. I mean, that website I showed you, that was the first time I've seen that website. I was just searching. I was just finding something. I read it.
Okay. So originally you got it from Dr. Sebi. Originally is what you're saying.
I got it from Dr. C.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So if you feel like if it, and this goes to anything. If your spirit doesn't feel right about something, don't eat it. Okay. We must not eat something just because the Most High created it. There are some things that you don't like. That's why He gave us different types. Okay. We have different choices. So you must not eat something if you don't feel like. What I always want evidence. People just say stuff. People will just say things, and we have been so destroyed that it's like we have to believe whatever anybody says. We have to, and that's just who we are today. So I'm not gonna, again, if you don't want to eat banana, or you don't feel like it, that some people don't like it, don't eat it. But also, banana is not just there's different types of bananas. There is different types of bananas, just like there are different types of birds. There are different types of mangoes. There's no one mango. There is no one mango. You have different types of mango, different types of bananas, different types of onions. The Most High designed this differently. So sometimes what happens is that some people will think that, well, if this looks like this and we have a different type, then it must be an hybrid of the other one. That's what people think sometimes. So there are things that has been genetically modified. Yes. If you don't feel like eating certain things, just stay away from that thing. Okay? Don't eat it. Stay away, because if you eat it, your spirit will be feeling guilty. I'm not going to get into Dr. Sebi, because Dr. Sebi is, he's dead now. I actually made a video defending Dr. Sebi. I think it was after his death. I made a video defending him. So Dr. Sebi is my brother. I I believe that he's a Hebrew Israelite, or he was a Hebrew Israelite. I think his death was very mysterious. But there's also a problem with people like him. You know, when you look at the scriptures, a natural herbalist usually supposed to rely on the Most High. But Dr. Sebi doesn't really give much of his credit to the Most High, not that I know of. I would love to see a video of Dr. Sebi where he's giving credit to the Most High. So again, I'm going strictly by Sirach chapter 38. If you read Sirach 38, Sirach chapter 38, read the whole chapter. You see what it talks about. It talks about people like Dr. Sebi. So, and usually they give their praises to the Most High, because all they do is to use things, herbs that has been created by the Most High to help you to get your healing. So I don't think Dr. Sebi was doing that, and that creates a problem in terms of credibility. So I'm not going to stop eating banana because Dr. Sebi said so, because I'm not sure Dr. Sebi knew the Most High. So when someone don't know the Most High, they are likely to not understand what the Most High created. It might look weird. It might be strange. It's like you telling a white person, an European, that we are Israelite and we are suffering. We have been scattered in the four corners of the earth and we're suffering today because of the Most High, and the Most High is doing this to us. Most white people will look at you like you're crazy, and they will ask you, what kind of God will do this to his people? What kind of God will punish his people like that? See, the reason why that he or she will ask you that question is because they don't know the Most High. So I made a video about Dr. Sebi. I admire him. But at the same time, I'm not going to be naive, because he did not know the Most High. And if he did know the Most High, if he did talk about the Most High, then I would love anybody who is listening to this to send me the video where he was talking about or giving credit, even if for 10 seconds. Anywhere that he make any reference thanking the Most High or giving credit, you know, look, anybody can say that plant can heal you. If you go and learn it, which I desire to do, that is one of my goal. My desire is to learn herbal medicine. Just actually be under a real doctor, real herbalist doctor. I'm not talking about man-made doctor. No, I'm talking about those that know how to cure with herbs. I would love to be under them and learn that thing, learn how to do it. So the thing is, if you learn it, you will know it too. But sometimes the gift, the spiritual knowledge, comes from the Most High. So again, I'm not going to believe everything that Dr. Sebi said just because he looks like me or he promotes herbal medicine. Because again, I think I listened to him for some time. I can't remember him giving the Most High glory. If he does, then that's good. You share the link. If he gives the Most High glory, then that's good. But again, I don't think it's enough. I need to see evidence, like when they say that banana has been modified. If I do see it, I will stop eating it and I will share the information with others. Okay? But again, we have to walk this kind of thin line where at the same time you want to be careful. You don't want to eat things that are genetically modified or something. But at the same time, you know that the enemy is on the side, flooding you with fake information. So I don't want to be rejecting something that the Most High wants us to eat also, just because someone is saying that it's genetically modified, and it was modified 10,000 years ago. Because sometimes when people don't like something, they begin to speak against it. If they don't like eating meat, they'll begin to give you all these reasons why meat is not good for you. A Hebrew Israelite cannot be a vegetarian. A Hebrew Israelite cannot be a vegetarian. This is something you need to understand. See, we're not like other people. So I hear people that keep the law or that want to keep the law, talk about the law, talk about vegetarianism. It's impossible for you to be a vegetarian. It will be a sin for you to be a vegetarian. Why? Because you have to eat the Passover. You have to eat the Passover, and you must eat the Passover. It's a must. If you don't eat the Passover, it's a sin. So, and I don't want to go into this, but since I've already said this, let me tell you this. When we do something about food, I will go into details. If you're somebody who is exploring vegetarianism, if you don't want to eat meat or whatever, okay, I will advise you to go on YouTube. Wow. Okay, I'm not going to get into this. I'm going to close this and go to the next question. But I have to say this because I don't know who is listening. When you have a chance after the Sabbath, go on YouTube and type in dangers of vegetarianism. I'm talking about those who don't eat meat. These people who don't eat meat, go on YouTube and type in dangers of vegetarianism. That's what they're called, right? Now, if you look at the videos, there are videos from people that has done this for 20 years, for years. So for 20 years, they stopped eating meat. These people became so sick. That's why they're making those videos. They became so sick. They ran to go eat meat because their bones began to break. I'm not telling you something that one person made a video and said. You're going to hear this from different people. Different testimonies. These people are hardcore vegans. But they were forced. They had two choices. You eat meat or you die. And they chose to go back and start eating meat because they began to develop health issues. They will go to the hospital. They'll be checked out. Some of them, I think they were told, you have to go start eating meat again. They're like, no. And it became like a cult. It became like a religion for them. What? I haven't eaten meat in 20 years. You want me to go eat meat? What about my 200,000 followers on YouTube? What about my 100,000 followers on Twitter? These people follow me because I don't eat meat. What would they say? There was one girl in some South American country, Argentina or something. Popular, huge, very huge, with lots and lots of followers. She was popular because of veganism. Well, you will see online, one day she was caught in a restaurant. So she went out to a restaurant and she was eating fish. And somebody was able to record her eating it. As soon as she saw that the person was recording her, she kind of began to kind of hide, but it was too late. and the video leaked out. Then she came out and confessed to her followers. So these people will tell you one thing in the videos. They will encourage you to do this. And behind the scene, they're eating meat. Then 20 years from now, you begin to suffer. You begin to, most likely you become disabled. Most likely you'll be bound in wheelchair. Because you either break your spine or break your leg because your bone is not getting the nutrients that you need to get from meat. Do you think that the Most High didn't know what he was doing? People becoming extremely sick. Their only solution, the only thing that cured them is that they went back and started eating meat. Then they begin to feel good again. They begin to recover. But many of them, they refuse to go eat meat because of all these followers. The image, their new life. They've created this new life of veganism. This is now their identity. So usually, they refuse to go back and eat meat. When their doctor will tell them you have to go back and eat meat, this is your problem. Usually, but eventually, they have no choice but to go back. So now they'll begin to make video telling you their stories. And these are people that started 20 years ago, 15 years ago. So I don't know how you see that and still go into veganism. Because what this means is that as you don't eat meat, if you don't eat meat, there are certain nutrients that you get from the meat. There are certain nutrients that you get because the cow or the goat is eating the grass. The grass came from the ground, and the grass draws certain nutrients from the ground. So it's all connected. It's all natural, all connected. That's why the Most High told us not to eat pig. And we can eat the things that chew the cord. So usually you're feeling very good in the beginning, but slowly your body begins to decay. Your bones. And you would not find out in 2 years, or 3 years, or 4 years, or 5 years. The next thing you have a small fall, your leg is broken. Or a small fall, your hands are broken because the bone is so weak. It just breaks. Now, that's one side. Again, a Hebrew Israelite cannot be a vegan because of the law. A Hebrew Israelite cannot be a vegan because of the law of Passover. It's okay to eat meat. Deuteronomy chapter 12. Deuteronomy chapter 12. The Most High say if you want to eat meat, go ahead. Why will the Most High? I think this is still in line with the science nonsense. Science, right? Why will the Most High allow the Levite to eat all this meat if meat is bad for you? The only reason why you would think that meat is bad for you is if you don't believe in the Bible. Because we now have a problem here. Our Creator, do we believe that He is our Creator? Do we believe that He is our Creator? Our Creator says, eat meat. But why would He say to eat meat if meat is bad for you? So He's saying eat meat. The scientists or the vegans are saying don't eat meat. It's bad for you. So who is telling the truth? At the same time, our ancestors did not eat meat every day like we do today. See, we are going in both extremes. If we're doing something, we do it too much. If we don't do it, well, too much. And that is not good. That's not good. Our ancestors ate meat, but they did not eat meat every day. It was occasional, during feast, occasional. An average would be like once a week. Once a week. Our ancestors did not eat meat every day because meat is only eaten when the animal is killed. This is occasionally. People never ate meat every day like today. That we eat meat every day. Don't eat meat every day. There's nothing wrong with goat meat, deer meat, cow meat if you're in Africa. Cow meat in America is not very good because they are forcing the cow to eat corn. That's not natural. And it's GMO corn. If you find natural cow, there's nothing wrong with eating this meat. But every day, no. It's not good to eat them every day. Okay, maybe once a week. Maybe once a week. Occasionally. Meat is only occasionally. But there's nothing wrong with meat. There's nothing wrong with it. And the point to the fact that it's interesting to the point that if you don't eat it, you can actually get sick. That's very interesting. So it's good for your body if you eat it occasionally, but not every day. Eating anything every day is not good anyway. But today we're eating meat almost every day if you really think about it. Most like every other day we're eating meat. And these are not real meat. Okay, so the law, Deuteronomy. Let me close with this law. Okay, Deuteronomy chapter 12. Deuteronomy 12. We start from verse. The Most High say you eat whatever. You can, if you want to eat meat, you go ahead and eat meat. Okay, so we start from verse 13. It says verse 15. Deuteronomy chapter 12, 15. Deuteronomy 12, 15. Yet, whenever you desire, you may slaughter and eat meat within any of your towns, according to the blessings that Yahweh your Elohim has given you. The unclean and the clean may eat of it, as the wool of gazelle or deer. The blood, however, you must not eat. You shall pour it out on the ground like water. Nor may you eat within your towns the tithe of your grain, your wine, your oil, your first line of your flock, of your flocks, first line of your herds, of your flocks, or any of your votive gifts that you may vow. So, again, if you read this chapter multiple times, the Most High told you, if you want to eat meat, go ahead and eat meat. There's nothing wrong with that. It's okay to eat meat, but you can't eat blood. I will also suggest that you look on YouTube and watch those videos. Just type in dangers of veganism. Just look around on the videos. You're going to hear people sit down and tell their stories. These are people that used to be very, very hardcore veganists, but now they are no longer. So they will give you their detailed story, how they decided to stop, how they decided to start eating meat again. It basically came down to either they refuse to eat meat and die because of their health issues, or they go back and start eating meat and recover. And they chose to eat meat and recover. Okay, so be careful when you follow the Gentiles, because again, some of them will tell you this stuff on the camera, on YouTube. Behind the scene, they're eating meat. Like that girl that was caught. Behind the scene, I'm sure if you look on, you see her video too, when she was caught. So behind the scenes, they're eating meat, but then they'll speak against. They speak against. There are some YouTube channels that are dedicated to exposing these people or dealing with that issue of people and veganism. So be careful, my brothers and my sisters. It's okay to eat meat, and as law keepers, you have to eat the Passover. Meat is okay, just don't eat. I'm talking about clean meat, of course. I'm not talking about pork. I'm not talking about pork or a pig. I'm talking about like um, deer, cow, goat. Those are okay. Okay? Chicken is okay. Uh, I've searched through the scriptures. There's one place in Leviticus chapter 11, verse 20, but that was um, that was the problem in King James. So where they're supposed to put insects, they put fowls. So that confuses people. So you're going to see video on YouTube or videos on YouTube that say that chicken is unclean. And then they will quote Leviticus 11:20 from King James. Well, that was a mistake which people in King James corrected. People of King James corrected it in the new King James. So it's okay to eat meat, but not all the time. Once in a while. The last time I ate meat was almost 1 month ago. The next time I'm going to eat meat is today. I eat them like on new moon days and Sabbath days, but occasionally, not all the time. So, because you don't want to do it too much, and beside, if you're eating a contaminated meat, let's say it's been contaminated with chemicals, eating it less also helps. So, but if you're in somewhere in the middle of Africa or something, you wouldn't have to worry much because those animals are raised naturally and they eat grass and stuff, so it's much cleaner. So, okay, all praises to our Heavenly Father. Before we close this, does anyone have a question relating to this about eating meat before we close this and move on to the next question? All right, so all praises to our Heavenly Father. I thank our Heavenly Father for opening our eyes and allowing us to understand these things. I am glad that I wasn't caught up with veganism, and then 10 years from now or something, you begin to suffer the health issues, so we're blessed for that. So all praises to the Most High. The Most High knows the best, and keeping the law is the best. If we keep the law, we will not be misguided. Let the law be your guide. Let the law be your guide. So all praises to our Heavenly Father.